You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody. Whoa. Whoa. Let's see if I can figure. All right, give me a Am I the only one getting an echo in here? Is that just me? Can I get like a thumbs up? What's up, guys? I feel like I'm getting an echo. An echo. Anybody? I'm gonna figure out why I'm getting echo. I know. I don't know what's happening. Sorry, guys. I apologize. I don't know why I'm getting so much echo. That's weird, man. That's weird. Apologies. My goodness, I'm gonna have to fix that in the what is up? Oh boy. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on, man. Everything was working 1 second ago. Here. Hey, stay with me 1 second. We're gonna get this guard. No. Let's see if we can fix this. Test, test. Is this thing on? Hey, can you guys hear me now? This is so weird. All right, I apologize, guys. These are the things. Hello, testing. I, I don't know why. I don't know why this is not working. Uh, so close, right? So close. I'm still getting that weird echo. What is going on here? We got some. Hang on, guys. Hang on. I apologize. I tested everything and it was working just fine. And now I got some type of crazy echo. I don't know. That's so strange. Yes. Luke, I'm your father. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. I really don't know. Why is it doing this? Welcome back to the original Pop Culture Warrior, where we had tech issues every single week. All right. Yeah, two options. I can do the show like this, and I feel bad for you guys. Let's see. That doesn't help much of anything. Maybe here. Maybe. Oh wait, did I figure it out? Let's see if I figured it out. How about now? Did that fix it? I think that fixed it. Oh my god. All right. Sorry guys. Shit that happens. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right. Okay. Take two here. Take two. Okay. Let's see if I can remember this. Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome, one and all. Today's June 29th, 2021, and this is episode 62 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. Yes, cause I went on vacation and all the buttons don't work now. God damn it. I think we're good. I think we're tracking now. I think we're tracking. Are we tracking? Yeah, it's because I got the AC running in the background. That's what it is. Yeah, it's not. Oh man, this is fun. This is the part where I go, hey guys, I'm CQ. I'm your Pop Culture Warrior, and with me as always, oh wait, there's nobody here. Yeah, there's nobody here. Radar isn't able to join us, so you know what that means. It means the phone lines are wide open. You can call in, join in this zany, wild thing that I'm doing that apparently I forgot how to push the buttons and make it happen. The number is 415-889-8367. You'll see it scrolling on the bottom. But yeah, man. I was feeling so good. I was like, yeah, man, I got this. Everything's clicking. Everything's working. And now it's not working, man. Are we good? Thumbs up, everybody. Wait, y'all got me good? Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Push the buttons. Did I lose sound again? No sound? I got push the buttons. I'm not getting sound. I'm getting sound. You guys are messing with me, right? You're messing me. You're messing with me. Okay. Yeah, I got people telling me there's no sound. You messing with me, you dirty little scoundrels. All right, cool. All right, man, goddamn. All right, sound still 5x5. Oh, man, appreciate you, man. Thanks. So, okay, this is the part where I go, hey, everybody, thanks for checking us out. I see you guys out in the chats. I see we got Captain Wayne, Tug, John Franco, God bless you, son. Josiah, what are you, Nick? What's up, Nick? Tyler, man. I appreciate everybody. Amanda, thank you guys. Nobody says shit on the stream when I'm doing the show. All of a sudden, I get a little echoey or a little quiet, and everybody's lighting up the chat boards. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Thank you for participating. What's up, Kaz, man? Oh, you guys are the best, man. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging in there. Derwin, damn it, Derwin, you're mess with me and telling me my sound's not working. I see the little things moving, the little lights are all moving now, so I'm pretty sure I'm doing good. But anyway, oh man, we got a really cool show for you tonight. Like I said, it's just me. So if you'd like to call into the show once more, 415-889-8367, straight direct to my line. We can chit chat about what we're talking about tonight for the first hour. And in the second hour, very, very excited because we have director Kurt Mattila coming on. He directed the documentary Stuntman, which is coming to Disney Plus July 23rd. I got to see it last night. It is crazy. What a heart-pounding thrill ride it is to see the world of stuntmen through the eyes of a stuntman, and then this epic thing he did. I don't want to spoil it because it's so awesome, but we're going to talk all about it and the director tonight in about, at this rate, about 30 minutes if I keep chit-chatting. But yeah, in about an hour, we've got him coming on. That's going to be an absolutely lovely conversation. What else? I said hi to everybody. Hi, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out. Okay, so, I mean, hey, Radar. Oh, wait, that's right. Radar's not here. So what do I do with myself? Thoughts. Okay, the latest two things that I watched this week that I enjoyed very much. What was it? Loki episode 3 was out this week, as well as Rick and Morty season 5 episode 2. And I enjoyed both episodes very much. I'm curious what you guys, if anybody in the chats wants to shout out their thoughts on either Loki episode 3 or Rick and Morty episode 2, I'd love to hear them. Episode 3 for Loki was great. We got a real one-on-one kind of Loki versus Lady Loki, which they say don't call Lady Loki. Her name's Sylvie. So we really got that dynamic going and learned, a lot. We learned that the power, how her enchantress kind of oh shoot, we're getting a call already. Wow, that was fast. Sorry about that. Let's see who we got on the line. Hello, this is Pop Culture Warrior. Who's this?
Hey, it's Mike.
Hey, Mike, Mad Mike. What's up, buddy?
Not much, buddy. How's it going?
Oh, can you hear me? First of all, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can't. No, I can't. It's echoing.
Do you want me to throw on my voice analyzer again? I can
No, don't
mess.
touch anything. Stop touching stuff.
There's a button right here. It's colorful. All right. So, what'd you think of Loki episode 3?
Loki.
Yeah,
it was good, man. I mean, they set everything up, and now we got their little, the Loki duo.
Yeah,
doing their thing. I'm excited. I know, what's his name, Tom or whatever, said the next 2 episodes are his favorite, and I think they're gearing up for some good things coming. I mean, they set a good stage. I like where they're going.
Right.
I think they're giving what's her name, Lady Loki. I don't know her name.
Sylvie. Show some respect.
I think she has cooler powers than the Loki we're used to.
Right.
Which is kind of like a slap in the face, and you could tell like he sees it like, oh man, she does cooler stuff than I do.
I mean, come on, he can do fireworks out of his hand. Come on, who among us has not wanted to shoot fireworks out of their hands? Fake fireworks.
The best $500,000 ever spent on CGI, right there.
I was like, that's
that
dude,
Disney Plus.
That's that Disney Plus. It's worse than Jubilee. At least Jubilee could shoot real fireworks out of her hands. He's shooting like
right?
holographic CGI fireworks. He's like one of those machines at a Disney theme park. You know what I mean? He just makes things appear.
I got a fidget spinner. Like, wait, what? All right, cool.
Derwin has a good point, though. He stopped a falling building with his mind. And in the last episode, I'm a little confused. When did Loki get telekinesis? Because in the last episode, he summoned a Roomba like it was freaking Mjolnir. And now he was able to stop a building and put it back. I mean, something's not right. I don't know. I don't know. Something's weird with that, but I do agree with you, Mike. Yeah, and yeah. So to what Mike was saying too was that when asked about the series, Tom Hiddleston, who plays Loki, he said his absolute favorite episodes of this series are episodes 4 and 5, which are the next 2 episodes. And his quote was, "That's when things really get crazy." So I am super, super excited to see literally later tonight. I mean, it really is like 3 a.m. tomorrow, but
yeah, a couple hours after your show.
So excited to see what is going to happen there.
But, no, it's good. I like it. I mean, it's better than WandaVision, but
I mean, hey, it's different. It's apples and oranges, man. It's apples and oranges.
I feel like it's setting up the next. Well, we're getting the regurgitated movies, but it's setting up the movies that we were supposed to get this time of year.
Right.
I think it's going to be great. That's what I think makes it better. But
yeah, this is
plus,
definitely.
I like Loki. I like Tom. I think he does a great job, and he's got nothing else going for him. But he's fucking killing it.
You watch your damn mouth, all right? Tom Hiddleston is a national treasure, okay? He's a British national treasure. But
we separated from them for a reason. Good TV, God damn it.
But no, I agree with you. It is definitely building, and we know. See, we have sometimes I'm a little sad about the fact that I know, like, I pay attention to what's coming, because I feel like if I'm the casual viewer who's like, oh, a Loki show, and just puts it on, then like you can really be like, whoa, oh my god, I didn't see.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah,
like,
but
mind blown.
Right, but because I know
where this is going. Oh, I know this.
Yeah,
I know that. It's spoilers basically.
Exactly. I know a lot of the source material. Right, I know the source material where they're pulling certain things from the comics. We know all the movies and how they all tie in, and we know the roadmap of the next 6 or 7 movies. So it makes sense if Spider-Man is coming up next, and it's doing those little. We know they're pulling from different dimensions. Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness is coming up, and that's tying into it. Then it makes sense that this timeline, which they've only hit over the head 16 times, Nexus level event, multiversal war. Like, it'll be madness. Like, I mean,
spoiler alert. They might as well just flash it on that. Spoilers coming, like,
right?
Whatever, you know.
My God, it's so true, man. It's so true. Captain Wayne Jubilee is my favorite.
But like you said before, like, it's weird because this was supposed to be the first. Wasn't this supposed to be the first one? It's supposed to come out before Wanda and before Winter Soldier, and then they changed everything during last year, didn't they? Or,
yeah. So if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be Captain. I'm always saying I'm doing the politically correct thing. Captain America. It was supposed to be Falcon and Winter Soldier first. Then it was supposed to be Loki. Then it was supposed to be WandaVision. So you know, they definitely kind of mixed up the timeline here. Hold on, I'm we're getting another caller. Everybody's chiming in tonight. Who? Hey, this is Pop Culture Warrior. Who this? Hello.
Did I call the wrong number?
I hope not. How can we help you?
What the fuck moments?
Yeah, this is WTF Moments. What can we do for you, bud?
I'm trying to see what he sees about the Sopranos trailer today.
Sorry, is this Kurt?
Tyler.
Okay.
You trying to buy a trailer? Yeah.
No, the many saints in Newark.
I sorry, man. No, I don't think.
You got the wrong number.
Yeah, I don't know if you got the right number, pal. I mean, if you're trying to reach WTF Moments, I mean, this is us, but this is Pop Culture Warrior. We're live in front of an audience, man. Say hi to the audience. We lose you? Guess we lost you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Guy likes buying trailers. Don't know me none.
Gotta love it, man. You're not killing it unless you're getting trolled, man. You're not doing the right job. So Mike, what about Rick and Morty? You catch Rick and Morty?
Yes, I do. Oh my God, I think it's getting better. I
Right?
like it.
Right?
Only thing I don't like is there's like, hopefully, like you said before, they got a 15 season contract, so hopefully we'll get more episodes. It's like you give me 6. It's like, come on, HBO.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this ain't Game of Thrones. I want at least 12. But no, it's great material. I mean, I don't know how they come up with this stuff, but it just keeps getting better and better.
Hey,
Mm,
wait,
shrimp.
hold on a second.
You got Shrimp Rick. We got Pickle Rick.
Hang on a second. Tyler, if that's you in the chats, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't understand what you were asking about. Sorry. I mean, you're there. I see you. I see you. The the many saints of Newark. Oh, that's what you wanted to talk about. I'm sorry. I don't know why it came out like trailer in Newark. Oh, the trailer of the many saints of Newark. Okay, now we're tracking. Now we're tracking.
It sounded like you were trying to buy a trailer in Newark, which was like, well, okay,
We're not
this
selling
ain't Auto Trader,
trailers,
buddy.
Sorry about that, man. I apologize. With the three-way call, I think we got a little. The words got a bit jumbled in there. But I appreciate it. Yeah, man. We'll
heard, you know.
Real quick, just to hit on it, they released a trailer. Okay, I think he's calling back. Hang on a second. Here we go. We're gonna try this one more time. I think this is Tyler. Tyler.
Yeah, it is. What's up?
Hey, sorry about that, man. It sounded we got jumbled and we thought you wanted to buy a trailer in Newark, and I'm like, man, I don't sell trailers, bro.
No, I'm talking about the many saints of Newark.
Yeah. What'd you think of it, man? It looks good.
It's good, but it's kind of a delay. I'm watching.
You can't watch yourself, man. You gotta pause. You gotta pause the screen. It's number because there's a delay in between when me and you were talking and when the show is actually catching up to us. So you'll drive yourself crazy, man. I've done it. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to watch.
Yeah, it's like radio. You gotta just mute the radio and just go with the flow.
but okay, what'd you think of the trailer?
I thought the trailer was good, man. Except for like when they kind of make Tony look like a bitch. Like honestly.
Well, because I mean, you have to build up to the character, right? I mean, he's not going to start out the Soprano. You know what I mean? He's got to build.
Yeah, he's not going to start out as the boss. Exactly.
Yeah, you know. So that
but also whenever he was in school, they called him Antonio. His name is not Antonio; it's Anthony.
No, that's true. Maybe there's something in the movie that you know that explains that, or you know, writers are just lazy. Are you excited about the show? You're a big fan of The Sopranos?
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, I've been watching it. I watched it like 3 times already. So.
All right on. Yeah, you know, I wasn't a super huge Sopranos guy. Like I watched, I think all of it. But I was never like I know it was a cultural phenomenon. It was the Godfather for TV, and I think it kind of the reason HBO and all them like got as big as they did. Derwin says I got $50 for a trailer. No, I'm not selling trailers. Stop it. Captain Wayne wanted to know what platform or stream is it on. Isn't that
HBO?
It'll be on HBO
October 1st.
Yeah. Mike is on it. Welcome, Pop Culture Warrior Jr. over here. October 1st, right. HBO Max. You can find it, Captain Wayne. Yeah, man. That's awesome. Anything else you're really looking forward to? Tyler?
No, I just what do you think about the Sopranos finale?
Oh man, talk about a decisive finale. I mean, something that a lot of people didn't agree on it. I'm always of the mind it's their show. They can end it however they want. If they want to shit the bed, so be it. Yeah, I was a huge Dexter fan. I mean, over the moon Dexter fan, and that was one of the worst finales of all time. Like the whole last season was garbage. But it's their show. That's how they want to end it.
They're coming back out with a new episode, right?
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. It's technically not a new series, and it's technically not the season. like the next season. I don't know. It's this weird category of like it's technically the next season, although it's not a reboot because it's the same storyline. So it's kind of like Fuller
Like
House.
Dexter, where are they now?
Yeah, it's like Fuller House. It just takes place many years later.
Exactly.
So it's not technically the next season because there's many years in between, but it's not technically a reboot or whatever. So yeah. But yeah, no, I actually have some news about. In fact, well, while we're here, we're not really in the category, but screw it. We're chit chatting. As far as Dexter, the next series, the next whatever you want to call it, they announced they're bringing back John Lithgow, who played Archer Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, which in my opinion was the best season of Dexter. He's gonna play a small role, probably, because Dexter like talks to ghosts kind of thing. He talks to like shadows of his past, and so they're probably gonna bring him back for a couple of like him talking to himself kind of things. And they've confirmed that this is basically the same story, and it takes place. It's in real time, so when we pick up on that first episode, it'll have been 10 years or whatever it is since the finale. So this isn't like 1 year later and they pick it up, or this is now the future, Dexter 2944. This is just exactly in the amount of time that has passed since the season finale. That's where the show picks up. The news I have out of that one is the Dexter will go up against Kurt Caldwell, who's Clancy was played by Clancy Brown. He's a trucker turned successful businessman and a community leader in the upstate New York town of Iron Lake. And according to rumors, Kurt will have a son who has some murderous predilections, and which Kurt will use his wealth to clean up and conceal, meaning perfect target for Dexter. So that'll be the next, technically season 9, if you want to call it, of Dexter, which is this fall. But thanks for calling in, Tyler, man. I appreciate you, bud. Thanks for watching the show, and we got a lot more news, so stick around. Catch.
So you pulled the
one last
reverse.
thing. What do you think? What do you think is better, Breaking Bad or Sopranos?
Oh, you're not. I don't know if you're gonna like my answer, man. For me, it's Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, for me, it's Breaking
100%.
Bad. 100%. Like I like Sopranos.
I agree with you.
Okay, all right, right on. I figured you'd be a diehard. So, like, and here's the thing: I know a few of the Sopranos. I've hung out with. I'll post pictures. I've hung out with some of the Sopranos. They're awesome dudes. Huge military supporters, which is awesome. They're cool. But Breaking Bad is just such a good show. And then even like Better Call Saul, the follow-up or prequel, sequel, whatever you want to call it. It's such a good show. They killed it. And I've been trying to get some of those people on the show here and yet to get any return phone calls. Although Aaron Paul, I got close to Aaron Paul. Well, we'll see. Yeah, science, bitch.
Yeah, I met him once at a bar down here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, right on, man. Was he cool? Was he cool?
Oh yeah, he was a cool ass dude.
Nice.
Like super regular.
Nice. Yeah, you want these people to be nice, and for the most part, they are. It just depends also when you catch them and how you catch them and whatnot. But for the most part, they're pretty chill people, unless you start bugging them for something. But all right, man. Hey, thanks again for calling, man. I appreciate it. This is when we get to chat with the audience, man. Mike, you too, man. It was great catching up with you. I'm gonna clear the lines, give someone else a chance to call into the show. I see you, Brighty. I'm terrible at this. I suck at name. Why can't everybody be Mike? Love you, Mike. You make my life easy. Anybody else wants to call in? The number is 415-889-8367. We're chit-chatting. I'm going to go through these top stories, and apparently, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm down with it. I didn't spend 3 hours coming up with a script. Let's have some fun. So let's talk about, while somebody decides to call in or not, let's talk about some movie news. Let's see. Here's a pretty cool story. There's quite a few stars. I just realized I did a pun there. You'll catch on. There's a few stars getting their Hollywood Walk of Fame star in 2022. Basically, how to get a star, like there's a whole committee process to get a star and all, like there's petitions and things like that. Unless you're like a super mega star, then they'll just give you one. But for most people, they have to, submit for it, whatever. So they just released the selection of the next 38 new honorees to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The selection panel, which is made up of fellow Walk of Famers, handpicks from a group of honorees each year that represent various genres of the entertainment world. Lydia, how do I call in? You take your phone, you dial 415-889-8367, and then I answer it on the other side. That's how you call in. You have to stop. For anybody that calls in, you have to stop watching the show and call in. If you try to do both at the same time, you'll drive yourself crazy because there's a delay in a loop, so you don't want to do that. So for this year's, or technically next year's, nominations, there's 6 different categories. I picked out a few that I thought were pretty cool. So for motion pictures, for movies, Lydia, it scrolls on the bottom. 415-889-8367. If you give it a few seconds, it'll scroll across the bottom. So for the motion pictures, Macaulay Culkin, Willem Dafoe, Salma Hayek, Helen Hunt, Michael B. Jordan, which I figure, he's a young guy to be getting a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, whatever. Ray Liotta, Ewan McGregor, Adam McKay, Jason Momoa, again, like outside of Aquaman and Game of Thrones, no offense, I haven't really done much. Tessa Thompson, who's Valkyrie in Thor, and Carrie Fisher, obviously a posthumous choice. She passed away, but the late, great Carrie Fisher, for the movie category. For television, Ricky Gervais, Robert Odenkirk. Speaking of Saul Goodman, Robert Odenkirk, Norman Reedus. Come on. Walking Dead, Phenomenon, a bunch of other stuff. Norman Reedus. Ming-Na Wen, who, everybody knows Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she was the voice of Mulan in the movie Mulan, and she's in Mandalorian and all this. And also Kenan Thompson, classic from Kenan and Kel. In the recording artist, they nominated Black Eyed Peas, DJ Khaled, and Avril Lavigne. Oh, I'm like, man, when the last time Avril Lavigne released music? But good for her. And the only one I really noticed from sports entertainment was Michael Strahan. I'm big Giants fans. Michael Strahan. So what's fascinating, I did a little digging. So according to the rules, when they've been chosen, the recipients have 2 years to schedule star ceremonies from the date of selection before they expire. So like your agent would get a call, hey, you've been nominated, your guy's been nominated for a star. Then it's on that person to actually organize their own, like, whatever it is. They do like a festival. I don't know. What do they do? They do like a big unveiling and they do the handprint thing and they have to set it up. And you only have, from when you're nominated, from when you're selected, you only have 2 years before that star expires, or the offer to get a star expires. Yes, I see. Diaz, he says, I thought actors had to pay for their star to be on the Walk of Fame. From what I read, they're nominated, but I'm sure, these guys can grease the wheels. I'm sure if they donate to the committee and whatnot, then, maybe they get a higher place in line. I don't know. Just saying. But yeah, some of those, Macaulay Culkin, God bless him. The kid was huge, but like, really, when has he done lately? But, honoring their past work. And I know, who's Scott Rosa said it's overdue for William Dafoe. Yeah, man, that dude's been in a lot of stuff, and he is a wild actor. Love it. Christopher says Liam Neeson should get it, and Jason Statham. It's about time Helen Hunt gets honored for Jurassic Park and Twister. Yeah, dude, Helen Hunt was, for a minute there, she was in everything. It was the late 90s, early aughts. She was in everything. Scott, you think I can pay somebody to nominate me? Okay, listen, we're going to create a petition. to get CQ on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Oh my God. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Oh my God. Whatever. That's stupid. That's stupid. Don't be saying things like that. Don't say things like that in here. I'll get my whole head into it. Christopher Helen Hunt was hot back in the day. I can argue that. What else we got in movies? Moving right along. This is pretty cool. So everybody knows, if you know Marvel, DC, comics, movies, like a big thing is the animated movies. I mean, the cartoons too, obviously, but the animated movies are kind of where it's at, and it's one of the few spots where DC kind of really blows Marvel out of the water. When it comes to those animated movies, DC crushes it. I don't know who's doing the DC animation stuff, but they're doing a phenomenal job. They need to run DC, major motion pictures, because they're doing a phenomenal job. Now, the current movie they're promoting is Batman Long Halloween, but they just announced what the next movie is going to be, and a lot of people are going to be excited about this one. They're doing a animated movie feature based on the Injustice video games. So if you know the video game, the Injustice, Gods Among Us, it's when, it's basically a Mortal Kombat game with DC skin. Like, that's what it is. I'm not going to go into the whole story about it, but basically they've announced that that's going to be the next animated feature. They haven't really said, like, are they retracing, or are they just following exactly like the plot points of part 1 and part 2? I don't know. There's no further details surrounding the project. There's no voice cast. There's no release date. None of that yet. But just the idea is super cool for, because it boils down to, Superman gets tricked by the Joker to kill Lois Lane and his unborn child. He snaps. He loses it. He then kills the Joker, which, sets him on a path where he just realizes, you know what, screw it. I'm tired of being the Boy Scout. We'll just kill all the bad guys and the world will be awesome. And obviously Batman really disagrees with that notion. And then the game takes place with heroes and villains all fighting each other in this brouhaha of either you're on Superman's side or you're not. It's pretty cool. And then there was a bunch of tie-in comic books that filled in the story between the video games and before the video games. The whole series was really, really, really good. And that's gonna be the next series. So we'll see. I think that's gonna be pretty dope. I don't know. I'll keep my ears to the ground and I'll let you know what I find. Do you have questions tonight or just head bobbing? Head bobbing.
That'll be good.
Holy Jesus Christ! Oh my!
I was waiting for a time to creep in. You're like, I'll clear the line. I'm still here.
God damn it! You scared the shit out of me. Oh,
folks.
I thought the voices in my head were back. Oh my God!
You're like, yes, that is good. I think you're.
You should have a star. What? Yes, God.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Mike. Thanks for hanging out.
You're welcome, sir. No, that'll be good. I love their stuff. I just watched Justice League Dark again.
Yeah.
But DC is really good at animation. And it's funny they're doing Long Halloween because that's supposed to be what the new Batman movie's based on, which was supposed to come out this year.
Yeah. It's coming.
Anyways,
Well, yeah, and that's
any new news on that or no?
First, that's like Long Halloween, but mixed with like a little bit of year 1, year 2 Batman. So it's kind of a mix of that. But yeah, no, it's still filming. They had to take a break because it was a short break. It was like 2 weeks because Pattinson, Robert Pattinson, who plays Batman, Bruce Wayne, got sick. He got the COVIDs. So they shut down. Okay. They shut down production for a little while. But they should just be about wrapping up. They should be very close to wrapping up at this point. Bridie. I'm so sorry, man. Phonetically put how you want your name pronounced in the chat so I know. Stop fucking this up. Bridie.
Mike.
Yeah. From now on, everyone's Mike. I'm just gonna. Mike says in the chats, everybody's Mike. So
fans are all Mike.
Bry. Okay, just Bry. Got it. Bry. I'm gonna read it phonetically. Bry.
But it's spelled Smith, so
The E makes it
conundrum.
I see. Oh man. Yeah, right. Captain Wayne says he didn't have anti-bat COVID vaccinations yet. The bat vaccine. He didn't get the bat vaccine.
Right.
Oh man. Anyway.
Apparently, you gotta eat a cat to prevent that, from what I heard last week.
All right, wait. Before we lose you, let me ask you. So I got a So these are my movies to watch out for in. John Franco, how dare you? My boy's airborne. You will respect that airborne. Beret. Movies to watch out for in July. July 2nd, The Tomorrow War. That's Chris Pratt. Basically, the future goes back into the past to recruit soldiers to fight for the future. I have my own reservations about that, but because it's like if you pull someone out of the past to fight in the future and they die, then that loops back around and destroys the future. Like there's a whole bunch of complications. I want to see how they do it because it just seems like there's a lot of complications in that. Unless they're doing it they're
gonna blow all the time travel stuff we've learned over the years out of the water, basically.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll just throw a bunch of money at it. It'll make sense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, they just go the Marvel logic, which is nothing you do in the past can alter the future. You're just creating a separate branch timeline. So they're just creating a separate branch timeline where blah, 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 blah. All right, enough of that. So July 2nd, The Tomorrow War. July 9th, finally, Black Widow in theaters or on Disney Plus Premiere Pass if you want to go that route. I'm going to the theaters. I'm watching Black Widow. I've avoided spoilers. I've avoided reviews, but from the snippets I've heard, it's back to Marvel awesomeness. So I'm very excited for that. July 16th is Space Jam: A New Legacy. I mean, I love the original, but you know, it's for kids. It's for kids. No adult is like, yes, my boy LeBron and Space Jam. Like, you know, whatever.
That was the heyday of basketball. No one watches it anymore. That's like, oh, does Gretzky still play hockey? Like, no one watches it. So it's like, why are you going to redo it?
July 20th.
I'll wait for it to come on Netflix.
There you go. Well, here's the thing. If you have access to HBO Max, it releases July 16th on HBO Max. You can watch it at home on HBO Max. Which, by the way, if anybody has Xfinity, you get free HBO Max. I love it. And yes, the soundtrack, Pow. I'm just gonna start calling you Pow instead of Bridie, whatever. Love the soundtrack. I agree with you.
Bri.
I know, Bri. I feel like I'm bro.
B-Rye.
B-Rye. Love the soundtrack. I agree with you. July 23rd is Snake Eyes, which I'm.
Is it free on HBO Max? I'll watch it. Can we get that? Start that petition.
Thank you, Fry. Thank you. And then July 30th is Jungle Cruise, starring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Can't go wrong with The Rock.
Can't go wrong with taking an 80-year-old Disney ride and making a movie about it. Can't go wrong.
Right?
Works for Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean,
and they're doing the Haunted Mansions.
The Haunted Mansions.
I don't know if I'm spoiling your show, but they're not Haunted Mansions. The other
Twilight Terror Zone. Tower of Terror. That's it. Twilight Zone. Tower of Terror.
Is a mother effer.
Oh man.
Tower of Terror, which I mean, the original had Gutenberg. I don't know how you're gonna top that.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Anything will be better, but the kids are excited. The girls are excited about the Jungle Cruise. They like them some rock, you know.
Emily Blunt.
Rock,
Emily Blunt's in there.
Hilarious.
Love the Blunts.
Yeah. Everyone likes the Blunts.
Emmy B is what I call it. Like, you know, we're cool. So Emmy B.
It's got the other movie they did with the Robin Williams, Jumanji.
Jumanjis.
So got that vibe. But
dude, hey, I want you to answer this one, Mike. There's a question in the chats. I want you to answer this one. What's your opinion on Fast and Furious 9?
Probably one of the worst franchises ever made, and I wish they would just stop.
Well, I mean,
it angers me. I'm at a loss for words because I'm so angry that it's like a thing. Like, okay, like a Honda Civic or an Eclipse, like, will never be faster than a Dodge Charger ever. I don't care. And then you're gonna ramp cars off of buildings. We made jokes. We have a friend that likes Fast and the Furious, and we joked that they're gonna do it in space. And then what are they doing in this one? In space.
They're slapping rockets on the bitches.
Just stop. There's so many better movies we could be making. Like, I'd rather see 13 Tower of Terror movies than watch fucking another Fast and the Furious movie.
Yeah.
Like, anything else. I mean, I'm more excited about the new Highlander movie than I am of any Fast and the Furious movie.
Casey has a point in the chats. He says if they stop now, like, how's Vin Diesel gonna make any money? Like, how's he gonna get paid?
I don't think he was never a good actor to begin with. So I mean, some dogs just have to die. You gotta put them to sleep sometimes.
Some dogs you just gotta put them to sleep. That's wrong, man. That's wrong.
That's probably a line in the movie. That's his number one.
No, hold on a second. If you wanna skip the movie,
Guardians, man, he's got Groot, which is Academy Award-winning material for him right there. I mean, he's got inflection in his voice. He doesn't say family 500 times.
It's all about the family. It's all about the family.
Fast 12.
We gotta go faster. We gotta go faster. We gotta go furious, sir. It's all about the family.
Sir. We're gonna ramp this shit off of Mars. Like,
we're gonna drift past Jupiter, do a loop around Mars, and burn into the sun.
VCRs into space, and we're gonna steal them. Like, wait, what?
Oh God!
They're gonna go dig up the ET cartridges from Atari.
Oh God! Good times.
Anyways.
All right, buddy. Thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate you. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. No, I was just, I don't know.
Question.
I'll let you do your show. I was wondering. I watched the Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings preview.
Literally just about to play the trailer. What's up?
And then I'm like, why does Shang-Chi need rings to be a badass, but, Iron Fist can just pump that shit out of the chest?
Because he's got, like, the blood thing of a dragon, right?
Like, they're in the same country. Like,
soul of a dragon.
And the other guy just...
Because he's white. Is that what you want? Is that what you want to know? It's because he's white. That's exactly why. Because the Asian dude has to, like, know the kung fu, and the white guy needs, like, a fucking power button.
It just takes a shot in the mouth and he gets it.
You don't know what he did to that dragon to get them powers. That's all I'm saying. He came out of that cave looking mighty, worse for the wear, but, you don't know what he did to that dragon for them powers. God knows. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Right. I'm going to play the trailer here, and we're going to talk about it a little bit afterwards. So check it out, man. All right, guys. Mikey's funny. Appreciate you, Mike. You're awesome. Without further ado, let's play real quick the trailer because I want to break this thing down, and I'm super excited about it. So let's play the trailer for Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Throughout my life, the Ten Rings gave our family power. If you want them to be yours one day, you have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
You are a product of all who came before you. The legacy of your family. You are your mother. And whether you like it or not, you are also your father.
I told my men they wouldn't be able to kill you if they tried. Glad I was right.
He was just a criminal who murders people.
careful how you speak to me, boy.
I thought I could change my name. Start a new life. But I could never escape his shadow.
My son, you can't run from your past.
Is this what you wanted?
You got this.
Thank you.
Whoa, god damn, son, that looks good. Oh, goodness gracious. That looks good. So much to, like, and I don't want to, see, I'm the kind of guy, like, I'll go frame by frame and start breaking it down and being like, oh, what do I see? So there's some things I see that I don't want to spoil in case I'm right, and then I ruin it for some people, but I have a couple of ideas and whatnot. One thing I will confirm, it's pretty clear and evident that you see the big hulking abomination in that little, like, fight pit thing. And, you know, the trailer came out and all of us were like, oh my god, that's Abomination. The last time we saw Abomination was 2008's Incredible Hulk, played by, what's his name? Oh god, I forgot his name. Roth. Not Eli Roth, that's the director. I don't know. God damn it. I knew this guy's name. Anyway, the point is, we see Abomination. He obviously looks a little different than we last saw him fighting, getting his ass beat by the Hulk. And for the astute viewer, because, I mean, your eye goes to the Abomination, who he was fighting against very clearly was doing sorcerer magic. And so a lot of people speculated, guys, I feel bad because it's kind of heavy set. Must be Wong, you know, from, you know, Doctor Strange's right-hand man. I thought it was a little wrong for people to just assume it was Wong because you can't really tell. But today, Kevin Feige, the MCU god that he is, that all being above everyone, has confirmed that yes, in the trailer, you do see Abomination fighting Wong. That is correct. I have theories, because what the hell would Wong be doing in some, like, fight club that's probably Madripoor, like we saw in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Why would he be there? So I have a theory, complete theory, that he's not actually there. That this is some sort of, it's almost like a simulation, if you will, like a danger room level simulation, a hologram, or what was the holodeck from Star Trek, and or the danger room from X-Men, where they can just pit people against anyone. You know what I mean? Like, you could choose, like, I'm gonna fight Abomination, or I'm gonna fight Wong, or whatever, and like, they just have it. Because I can't imagine a scenario where Wong is like, you know what? Doctor Strange's off doing his thing, so let me just get my reps in. Let me just hit up that fight club, that MCU fight club. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right. So I don't know. I think there's a bait and switch happening there, and like, you're supposed to think like, oh my god, it's these guys are really fighting. But I think it has something to do with other stuff. Now, it was confirmed also that Abomination, before they showed him here, would be returning in the Disney Plus show She-Hulk. That it was not only going to have Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, but they were also going to have Tim Roth. Tim Roth, that's who it is. Tim Roth come back as Abomination for that show as well, which, if he's Abomination and not going to turn human at any point, why even bring Tim Roth back? So that kind of makes me think that they might figure out a way to make him human again. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. This is a movie for those that are like, well, Shang-Chi, he's not like he's a nobody in the, like he's not a big deal. Like, he's an awesome character and has a badass, like, the whole thing he does is badass. I love the way they're tying him into the Ten Rings, and really you got to think that this is Marvel kind of closing the loop, because all the way back in Iron Man 1, when Tony Stark gets kidnapped, he was kidnapped by the Ten Rings organization. During the torture videos, like, you see the flags in the back. It was the real Ten Rings, not the Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3. They talked about, like, look, we want to do I read an article where Marvel talked about it. Like, we wanted to do Mandarin. We wanted to do, like, the real Mandarin, but the character is such an epic, huge story that you can't do it in an Iron Man movie, because the Iron Man movie is about Iron Man, and you can't dedicate a whole movie to Mandarin and the Ten Rings. So this is a way, by bringing in Shang-Chi, making him the son of the Mandarin, it ties that story together, kind of closes the loop. And I predicted this, and I'm predicting it now. You can hold me to it. There will be a lot of tie-ins, because we know this story is mainly going to be present day, but that there are like flashbacks and not visions, but there's periods of the movie that are going to be in the past. I guarantee you we're going to see where this organization ties into other places in the Marvel Universe. We know they kidnapped Iron Man. We know that it was in Iron Man 2, they're the ones that gave the passport to the Russian dude, Whiplash. They're seen in Ant-Man and the Wasp when they're trying to buy the Wasp, or not the Wasp, the Yellow Jacket technology. One of the guys has the tattoo. So, like, they've been a part of the Marvel Universe, and we're going to see that through this movie. I really feel like they're going to just pay off those little tidbits for those movies. So, anyway. All right. That is what we got for the first hour. I didn't even get into the nitty-gritty, a bunch of other stuff. Maybe we'll cover it later. If not, no biggie. We got an awesome guest for you guys coming up at the top of the hour. I'm going to take a quick break and prepare for the guest. Like I said, I'm super excited for this. I saw the movie yesterday. It is so good. I highly recommend you guys check it out when it comes out on Disney Plus, July 23rd. I'm going to... all right, Captain Wayne. I see you, man. I like it. I like where your head's at. All right. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got the awesome Kurt Mattila coming on the show. So we'll be right back after this. Hopefully, I don't jack up the audio tossing a break. So if I do, I apologize. Hang in there with me. All right, guys. I'll see you after the break. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Pop Culture Warrior. This is hour 2. I am super excited for tonight's guest. My guest tonight began his professional career by creating the haunting precog dream sequences for Steven Spielberg's Minority Report. He went on to direct the heist film Lies and Alibis, followed by several commercial campaigns for brands like Ford, Gap, and Red Bull. He recently helmed The Hidden World, the virtual reality film for Universal Pictures and DreamWorks that features the cast and characters from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. His latest feat is a documentary feature film called Stuntman, which was executive produced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It depicts the harrowing story of stuntman Eddie Braun as he attempts to recreate the infamous Snake River Canyon jump that ended the career of his childhood hero, Evel Knievel. Stuntman has won the Audience Award for Best Documentary Feature Film at the Los Angeles Film Festival and is set for release on Disney Plus July 23rd. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to my guest tonight, director Kurt Mattila. Hey!
Hey, hello, sir.
How are you doing, man?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, you have no idea how excited I am. First, you look fantastic. I mean, obviously, the pandemic did you wonders. I mean, you look great, man.
You should have seen me last week. It was a whole other story. Things can turn around quickly, you know?
Hey, you put the effort in, man. Put the effort in. It works. Okay, so, oh, my God. My head's spinning because I have so much that I want to ask you and so much that I want to talk to you about. Awesome. First and foremost, right out the gate, I always like, I told you during the break that this is a, military veteran, the military veteran audience. Our civilian audience is building up. We're appreciative. I always like to ask my guests right out the gate, do you have a military connection? Either you served, a family member served, a close friend, or just even if you're just a big old supporter of the military, what's your connection?
Oh, what's my connection? Well, first of all, my grandfather was in the Air Force during World War II, and he wasn't flying planes, but he was fixing the radios on them. Apparently, you need radio contact while you're in the air, so he was responsible for that. My father wound up was in the Army Reserves, and he retired as a lieutenant colonel, so he was there for a while. And then, as a matter of fact, my parents met at the VA hospital in Boston. So when I think about it, my mom was like a real cool hippie Boston party chick, and my dad was a very socially awkward guy. So there's no way they would have met in real life in naturally occurring situations. They'd have to meet at work. So my connection to the military primarily is I wouldn't be here, if it wasn't for the VA hospital. Our nation wouldn't be here, obviously, but then I personally also would not be here. So I have a lot to say. Thank you for your service, and thank you for everyone before you.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. There's no better connection to the military than, I literally wouldn't be here if not for the military.
Parents met at the hospital, VA hospital. Never would have happened outside of that situation.
Yeah, that's so awesome. That's the reason I always ask is because even if it's as simple as, I know a guy it's like a lot of times veterans out there feel very disconnected from the civilian counterparts. And so I always like to say, look at how connected we all are. Like, whether you served, whether your family served, whether somebody a guy you went to high school with served, like there is always that connection. So it's awesome. Let's see what else. A lot of people are very excited you're here, by the way. Everybody's saying hi in the audience. So if you
hello, everybody.
You want to give a quick hello, there you go. Everybody, you've been heard. We got you.
Okay.
And if you guys have questions for Kurt, throw them in the chats. We will get to them. But as always, I like to ask my questions first. It's only fair. It's my show.
It's your show, man.
Okay, so obviously I want to talk all about Stuntman. I got to see the movie. I saw it last night. Unfortunately, everybody's got to wait till July 23rd on Disney Plus, right? But before we get into Stuntman, I like to know the man behind the work that we're here to promote. So a little bit about you. You're obviously you're a film director. You've directed commercials. You have a litany of work, sir. I saw it. You video editing and writing and producing. You're all over the place. So I'm curious to understand the things that I can't search, that I can't IMDb, I can't wiki you. Is how'd you get into this? What got you on the path to where you're at now?
Oh, well, thanks for asking. First of all, I just want to let you know that you are the first person outside the circle of trust who's seen Stuntman. So in a weird way, the fact that you're jumping up and down and raising your arms, that's a dang good sign that we might be onto something. So I'm thrilled that you saw it, and we'll have a much more interesting conversation. I won't have to dance around like, did you see it? You didn't. Sometimes folks say they did, but they didn't.
Oh no, I saw it.
But going back to I went to art school to become a film director. I went to the Braun School of Design, and I've always wanted to be a director. And I met some wonderful people there. I met my closest, longest brothers, Mike DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. They went on to make Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. They were always in animation while I was in live action. And I remember thinking like, oh, those cartoons will get you nowhere, boys. Come on, you gotta get where the live action is. So we all moved out here together to California, and it is. You need your group no matter where you are. You're landing in, alone, having to meet people from boots on the ground, like it's not going to work. You need that core group to go out with you. So I was very fortunate to have my friends here with me. And I started my career working at a company called Imaginary Forces. They did title sequences and commercials and all sorts of stuff like that. And the weird thing that wound up happening, CQ, it was a weird backdoor channel into the movie business. Within months of me moving here, I get the call like, hey, so Ridley Scott's coming by today, and you're going to have to edit the trailer for G.I. Jane in a very small editing room. And I was like, okay, I didn't train for this. I don't know I don't know how to, this man made Blade Runner and Alien. I'm like a giant fan. So I had to learn very quickly to be like, hey, good to see you, sir. Let's get started on this trailer for G.I. Jane. It's called. Okay, so I had, but what was interesting is I got to sort of glom from these filmmakers who would come in and talk about their process and stuff. So I had this weird graduate film school where everyone that came in, I got to learn from. I did a title sequence for this film called Donnie Brasco, so I got to talk to that director. Oliver Stone came by a couple times. And all this sort of built towards what you mentioned in that beautiful intro. I was like, man, I think that's me. Steven Spielberg hired me in a group to work on Minority Report, and that was sort of the real big foray into motion graphics and visual effects and so on and so forth. And that was an experience I still don't believe it happened. I think it was like the first documented case of imposter syndrome because I was on set with these guys, and it was just fantastic. And after Minority Report, we wound up, my couple creative partners and I wound up making a film, and then I kind of branched off to make a bunch of commercials. And they were really dumb, innocuous commercials. Like I was happy to work, but they were like, cough syrup and soap. And hey, who likes cereal? But then one day I finally got the big, holy grail of commercials. I landed a car campaign, and that's like striking it rich. And well, not really, but gold, striking gold. And I'll never forget. I'm there. I have no idea how to make a car commercial. I'm doing all this research, and my assistant director came in and said, hey, you're going to need a stunt driver for these cars. They don't drive themselves. You're going to have a guy he's like the actor. He makes the car move, and like, okay. And he goes, do you want to audition anybody, or do you want me to just bring in someone I know, this guy, Eddie Braun? I'm like, yeah, just bring him in. We'll hire him. And that moment changed my life. Forever, because that's how I met Eddie, who's the subject of my documentary, Stuntman. And we just, one of those weird happenstance. And, we hit it off. And during the course of that, we started talking about the movie, and the rest is still current history. It's still going. It's
still happening. Still happening.
Yeah.
Couple more before we get into Stuntman. I'm, you're somebody that you've dabbled in. I saw some TV work. Dabbled, you're doing the directing. You've done the visual editing and visual effects, and so given you now have a kind of a wealth of knowledge, you have, a huge toolbox to work from. In your opinion, like as a film director, for regardless of what you're directing, what is the most important quality? What is it that a good film director or director, I should say, brings to the project?
That is a great question. I think the most important quality is being okay that if you don't have all the answers. Obviously there are certain situations where directors have an absolute vision of a film and they're like, nothing's going to get in the way. And I don't want to hear anyone's opinions. I don't want to, I just have this super, vision but that's not necessarily the case, because once you get into the world and on a set, suddenly all these factors start weighing in and you start going, oh, well, that shot looks better than the storyboard I drew. What then you start to become this collaborative thing. And what I learned from Spielberg is, on the set of Minority Report, here's the man who made Jaws. Here's the man who made Schindler's List, Indiana Jones. He knows what he's doing. And after the first shot of the day, he just went, okay, what do you think? Should we do this now? Like he listens to people's ideas. And I realized, oh, a good filmmaker quality is collaboration and taking input from other people who you trust. And if anyone is listening is like, I want to be that, that's the biggest thing. Like now, obviously, sometimes you bring in people who aren't the best fit and their ideas aren't helping, but more often than not, you work that out in casting. It's almost like going on a date. You kind of go, what are your points of reference? What's your thing like? And then you kind of go, oh, you know what? I think we can work together. And hopefully that you've chosen the right crew. And man, when they have a suggestion, it's probably better than the one that you have. So collaboration and keeping an open mind, I have personally have found to be the most quality to have on these situations.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Apparently, I'm getting told like the Facebook Live version it's a little glitchy. I apologize, guys. That's on Facebook end. We can't control that on our end. We're good on our end. Maybe switch to YouTube. Maybe switch to Twitter. I don't know. Sorry. So outside of that, so I read that your love for filmmaking is rivaled only by your passion for comic books, which, in case you haven't noticed, it's kind of something I'm excited about here as well. So being that you're a comic lover, being that you're a person, and that you're also a person in the entertainment industry, I'd love to get your sense, your feeling on the pulse of superheroes in film and TV. Right, we're in a golden age of just a plethora of superhero content. Do you feel we're in a good place? Do you feel it's going to get better? Do you feel it's oversaturated? You're the film guy, man. Tell me the layman. What do you think?
Well, hey, I've heard your show. You're not a layman. You're very well versed. So let's start with that. CQ, incidentally, a very good Roman Coppola movie. I don't know if you ever saw it or not, but it's pretty good. So as a filmmaker and a huge comic book fan, the one thing that the first reaction I have to all these things is like, oh, they're good, because growing up, we had the Hulk TV show was okay, but then there was all these missteps in the early 90s, and it was this strange thing where we, the nerds, weren't calling the shots. It was the sort of studio executives who really could not know the difference between Superman and Batman, and it's documented that they didn't. They were trying to do films where does he have to wear the mask? Does he have to wear the cape? So we got out of that sort of dark age, and from Iron Man 1 onward, it's just been oh my goodness. And I see the shield behind you. One of my favorite characters is Captain America. And when I heard the premise that it was going to take place during World War II, I'm like, oh my goodness, they're okay. So I definitely has this anxiety of, I suppose other filmmakers have too, I better get in there. I better pitch. They can't do this without me. And then I'm just sort of okay, they got it. They're good. And then, man, when it came to that culmination of that first Avengers film, CQ, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And it was good. And they keep one-upping themselves, just when now we're at a point where it's like the spin rack, the old spin rack growing up. It's there's so much stuff on streamers, maybe the CW Flash isn't for you. Well, just pick out WandaVision. You know, like now you have a choice because there's so much, and you may not like it all, but you're going to like some of it. I think we're also not at this alleged tipping point. There was like, oh, it's good, it's oversaturated. It's going to say, no, it's like the Western. If that's anything to learn, we got another 20 years of this, guys. And you know what? That's okay. That is okay by me. But I'll never forget, I went to the San Diego Comic-Con a lot, being here in Los Angeles. And, you know, the first few years, I started going in the late 90s. You know, we'd be happy if the guy who played Boba Fett showed up, like Jeremy Bulloch. Like that was like a big deal. And I think it was 2001-ish, right around X-Men 2, where all of a sudden Bryan Singer shows to promote X-Men 2. Ben Affleck shows up to promote Daredevil. Ang Lee's there for Hulk. And we're like, what is happening? Then Arnold Schwarzenegger comes in to talk about Terminator 3. None of that happened before that point. And so that's sort of like, I think, where the Big Bang started. Then from that point onward, it became
mainstream. It became everyday, you know, if you hadn't been to a Comic-Con, you didn't know what a Comic-Con was. And that's very different now. You don't have to have ever been there.
Experience.
Yes, absolutely. And last kind of pop culture Chicago question: you've worked on some major pop culture staples. I mean, Minority Report. You had a hand in Tron, Avatar, the anime, not the the other Avatar. Iron Man, Hulk in the MCU. I mean, I saw Tropic Thunder was on your resume. I mean, for you, what's been? I mean, you talked about the Steven Spielberg moment, but like, what's been that like, whoa, I can't believe I'm here doing this right now kind of moment?
Oh yeah, I think so. I worked on Iron Man 1. I did a very small sequence. The very beginning of the movie, he's getting an award in Vegas, and they do a little tribute film for him. So I wrote and produced a little tribute film for him because I knew a lot about Tony Stark, and like I helped design all like the Rolling Stone covers and all that kind of stuff. And I just sort of had this moment I was like, Iron Man's gonna be in a movie. Like, this is Tony Stark and I getting to just touch a small piece of it was beyond thrilling. And I wound up meeting Kevin Feige briefly during the second Hulk movie, the Louis Leterrier one, where Ed Norton won. And that was kind of a bumpy road for a movie, but it had the first real good slugfest. The Abomination, the Hulk. It was the first time we saw a slugfest. I worked on I put together the opening sequence, which told the Hulk's origin story in 2.5 minutes. I was very happy to be like, some films don't need an origin story. You just did 2.5 minutes. There's an accident. It goes wrong. He's the Hulk. Let's move on. But I remember talking to, like I said, I met Kevin Feige, and at that time I was like, so I know you got the Captain America movie coming out. In the comics at that point in time, Bucky had inherited the mantle because Steve Rogers died right at the end of Civil War. So I was like, and I started to get suspicious. Like, are they moving? Is the comics going to reflect the film? I remember saying, like, is Bucky going to be Cap? Because they hadn't cast him yet. And he actually said, maybe in the third movie. And this was like so early. I'm like, that's the first time I got the sense that like they're thinking 3 to 5 years in advance. And I remember just thinking, like, calling my fellow nerds and stuff, like, guys, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We're in good hands. The days of weird Daredevil and Ghost Rider are over. We're going to be okay. And that was another sort of pinch me moment, I think.
Man. That's so cool to be. You were there. You're literally there at the ground floor, the beginning of the beginning. And it's so funny. I don't say this to blow smoke, but like I clearly remember the little montage that they do for Iron Man in the first one. Like it's visually captivating. So whatever it is you did, like it's still in, like, what are we 18 years later from Iron Man 1? It feels like forever. But like I still visually, I see him in the suit with the Obadiah Stane, the white Rolling Stone cover. Like it's visually just burned into my brain because I just remember seeing going like, oh wow, this is amazing. So thank you, because that was awesome. You did awesome, man.
No. Thanks to Jon Favreau for letting me do it too. He'll probably be like, who was that again? Did he write that during the writer's strike? Because
we're bringing the guy. It's fine. It's fine. Oh man, like there's so many more questions I want to dive into, but I also want to give us a chance to talk about Stuntman, because like I said, I got to see it last night. It really is incredible, and I don't say that just because you're here, but I'm somebody who's, and that's kind of why I started the show, is because as much as I love the comic books and the movies and things, like I also am a huge fan. I'm the guy that buys the DVD, watches the movie, then watches it again with the commentary, then watches it again with the special features and the bloopers, because like I love the behind the scenes of it. I love the making of it. So getting to see what we never get to see from Stuntman was such a cool look. For everybody that's out there, you love the stunts, you love the car explosions and the flipping and the on fire, and like those are human beings doing that. And this film, as much as it is about the Evel Knievel stunt, which is what we build to, like it really is about kind of the everyday stuntman. What it is like living that life. So I guess right off the bat, and I kind of I don't want to spoil it, right? We're not gonna talk about the ending. Let people watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the beginning. I know you said you met Eddie. And we kind of see it in the film. Is that when you met Eddie in the film for the first time?
That's actually after we decided to make this movie together. I wound up booking one more car commercial, and we had already started filming this documentary. So we're like, no one else would let us on their sets to like, hey, can we film Eddie behind the scenes on this top secret, Coca-Cola commercial? And they're like, no. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to hire you again for the stunt driver for this other car commercial. So let's kill two birds with one stone. We're going to film the document. So we'd already decided to make the film together. And then we kind of had that moment right there. So yeah, Good eye though. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course I see it. So for those that don't know, when you watch the movie, keep an eye out for Kurt, because he's in there. He makes a couple appearances in the film. Was that weird being in front of the camera and behind the camera at the same time?
It was, but it was only a brief moment. I have, I know this is about stuntmen, but I do have respect for actors, because I got to tell you, like the few actors I've directed, like as soon as you cross that thing and that lens is on you, it's suddenly like, I don't know how to communicate in English properly. Like I did a couple things on camera once before, and funny enough, speaking of special features and all that kind of stuff, I'm on the special features for Minority Report, and it was a surprise. And I got a call from Spielberg's office. Come by. I thought it was like doing a commentary. And they're like, well, hair and makeup is down the hall, and we'll ask you some questions. And CQ, I don't remember making a complete thought in English. I just went, and then I watched the thing, and whoever put it together, like if there are like Pulitzer Prize, Peabody types things to create something out of nothing, this is it. But the point of that is I realized, you can edit people in real life and still kind of get the basis of what they're saying. And that's sort of like the core thing behind documentary. Someone talks and tells a story for an hour long. You got to kind of trim it down to the bare essentials. And so that kind of got me thinking on that. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so you're right. The fantastic thing that the thing that I learned the most about making Stuntman is when you see these action films, cars flipping and people falling out of windows, there's this strange suspension of disbelief that you have when you say, hey, this is fiction, this is make-believe. We know it's fake, it's not real. No one's getting hurt, right? And upon day one of meeting Eddie and doing a stunt thing, it's like, oh, you get hurt. You get hurt all the time. Like there's no getting around it. But as Eddie would say, the trick is you just can't get injured. So that was like a real big eye opener. There's a stunt that the film opens with, which, it's not spoiling anything, called, the stunt guys call it a cannon roll. And it's this thing you would see in a lot of Michael Bay movies where if a car turns and suddenly there's an explosion underneath and it flips in the air, you're like, that was a little over the top. But there's a guy in that car doing that stunt. And your first thought is like, well, that's ridiculous. We have CGI. Why are we doing this? And the reality is that, until there's a stunt setting on driverless cars, you still need a guy to be behind the wheel, because once that stunt's over, it's his job to make sure the engine's off, and so it does the wheel, in case it lands upside down, the wheels aren't turning and doesn't drive into the crew. So even though they're exploding and flipping around. They're thinking, okay, as soon as this ends, I got to make sure the gas is off, and they're always thinking about safety, even when they're on fire and rolling around and stuff. So that was really, again, another eye-opening experience was that. So yeah, no, it's nuts.
Yeah, like you hit the nail on the head, and I mean, obviously, it's your movie, you directed it, but watching it, like I just kept getting hit over the head with like, man, like these dudes get rocked. Like you see it, and you can almost see it because you have the cameras like right in his face, and you can almost see like the eyes kind of rolling back and that kind of like dazed and lost. And then everybody runs in. He's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. No, are you okay? No, I'm okay. Are you okay?" Like, is this back and forth because, like, I being in the military and I was in combat and all the time, an explosion will go off and you get rocked and like you're just instinct is like, I'm fine. Like the bottom half of you could be gone and you're like, I'm fine. I'm good. But like, you really get a sense of like these crews that come running in and just the danger of it and the impact it takes. We see Eddie get multiple injuries. It was a bunch of times you could tell his bell got rung in this movie, and you don't shy away from that, which I think is vital to telling the story of these guys and what they do and what they put. Sorry, I can't. My brain is struggling to accept it. Like this guy gets in this car. He's like, all right, I'm gonna drive to near death, blow up, which again, from the viewer's perspective, it's like, oh, cool, fireball, and it flips over. But like when you see it inside, like it explodes from inside the car. Like you see fire and explode, and he's flipping and he's rolling, and it's like, oh my god, it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
Yeah. And it was like a NASA launch gone wrong. I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Yeah, we did that to that scene. He was going to do this stunt, which basically goes, you have a bomb in the back of your car, an actual live bomb. And the reason why you need a stunt driver is the idea is that you need to slide the car at the right angle so it looks, like actors have a good side, like so do cars. You have to get it the right side to the lens. And at a certain point, he triggers the bomb, which then explodes and sends him skyrocketing and rolling and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but I said, hey, do you mind if we put GoPros inside there? I'm just curious. And so we did that. And your reaction is the same reaction I had when I first saw this footage. I'm like, but they just love making movies. They do it because they love making films. Like all the conversations I had with Eddie and his sort of elder statesman stuntmen that, the older guys, and even they're just committed to their craft, and they're just as excited as anyone else on the set to like make this shot work. And like their first question, like after you're all right, is how'd it look? Was the shot good? Is it good? Is it good? It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, like you said, let's make sure your head's not concussed before we talk about the shot. But that's their mentality. They love making this stuff, and it was very refreshing to see that like someone who's a group of people who are so excited about their craft and so excited about the process of making films that they put themselves in harm's way, or they protect the cast, or they protect the star, and they step in when there's danger. It kind of sounds like a superhero, They wear masks, they wear suits, their face is not to be seen, and the tagline initially was the face you never see. And like, that was another part that Eddie and I had to get over, is because he spent his entire career, hiding his face, making sure the camera wasn't looking at it, because he was always stunt doubling either Charlie Sheen or some other guy. And so it was really a strange leap for him to suddenly be on camera. And that took a little time to get there and some comfort, but we got there around year 2. So it all worked out.
And that's a great point too, because nobody's seen it yet, but this takes place over a large chunk of time for what I would assume is a typical documentary. Maybe wildlife or some story where 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a year. This takes place over a very large time. When you got started, like where's your headspace at? Like, okay, this is gonna take me X amount of time, and then kind of as it adds on and on and on, like where's your head at? Where you're like, is this ever gonna happen? Like, what are you thinking during this process?
That's a great question. I had no idea what I was signing up for. I would do it all over again in a heartbeat. But I had heard from other people who have made documentaries that, like, this is a long process. I was like, no. We'll have this wrapped up in a year, because I don't want to reveal any story points. But it seemed like the launch of his quest. Well, I guess we should talk about what his quest, the Odyssey. And again, this isn't spoiling anything when you do hopefully watch it on July 23rd. I know He-Man is coming out that same day, and Snake Eyes is also coming out. But the good thing about streamers, it's always going to be there. There's no competition. It's not like you're flipping channels and stuff. I was kind of bummed. I was like, Snake Eyes, how could you? Like, my favorite G.I. Joe guy is going to have his thing. So Eddie had been doing stunts now for 30 years when I had met him. And as great of a craftsman as he was, it is this area of the business that you can only do so long. Like the odds are you're going to really injure yourself. And so he was joking like, hey, I can still stand. I can walk, I don't have too many broken bones. I really should retire, as one should after 30 years. But he didn't want to just kind of retire. He really wanted to do something as a gesture to honor his fellow stuntmen, and like something that would just cap this 30-year career in a very interesting way. And he thought about the fact that he got into stunts because he met Evel Knievel as a very, very young man. And for those that don't know, Evel Knievel is this strange phenomenon from the late 60s, early 70s. He was sort of the first reality star, but, instead of Gordon Ramsay, he was breaking bones and jumping motorcycles instead of cooking. But what he would do is he would wear a cape. He had this suit. He kind of had this Captain America vibe, and he had this persona that was incredibly heroic. And so kids, that when you're 8 and 9, you're like, I will follow this man.
He was the all-American,
He's the all guy, and he's saying no to drugs and all this kind of stuff. And if you fall down on your bike, just get back up. Success comes to those who try and keep trying. So Eddie was his childhood hero. And it turned out that Evel's career sort of ended on this big mission. He wanted to jump the Grand Canyon, and the Secretary of Interior said, no, you're not doing that. So he decided to found a canyon in Idaho called the Snake River Canyon. Like, how symbolic is that name, the Snake River Canyon? And he finally was convinced that he can't jump it in a motorcycle, that he's going to need a little more horsepower. So he hired a founding father of NASA, this guy Robert Truax, who designed Thor missiles that came out of the submarines in the 50s, and I think was part of the team that figured out the staging in the Apollo, like the first thing. So he's no slouch. And he designs him this steam-powered rocket that was going to essentially launch him over the canyon, and was going to be a crash landing no matter what. But he had this parachute system that was going to open up, and it was going to land him, bumpy on the other side.
Relatively.
But the funny part is all this time, Evel Knievel's the first guy to have, real man who had his own toy line. This predates Chuck Norris when he had those weird action figures in Mr. T. He had a toy line based on him and his costume. And when I started researching this, I'm like, this is the bravest toy salesman known to man, because he had a what they called a sky cycle, which was the rocket he was going to launch with. They already had the toy ready to go, and kids would buy it and launch it over creeks and stuff. So he kind of had to do this stunt no matter what, because he was talking about it for years. And so he finally did it, and it was the first pay-per-view known to man. Vince McMahon, produced and all this kind of stuff. And as the legend goes, the steam power was so strong, it kind of knocked him out, and he had his hand on this parachute, this dead man switch, and he must have let go of it, because as the rocket was taking off, the chute opened up prematurely and dragged him back, and he went into the canyon. And because he's Evel Knievel and there's some weird spiritual thing going on with him, he didn't land in the river, but 2 feet away on the river bed. If he had landed in the river, he would have died, because he was strapped into this rocket. So this is terrifying. This is alarming. This almost killed your childhood hero. And Eddie goes, I'm going to finish that stunt. I'm going to jump the Snake River Canyon in honor of my childhood hero, but I'm going to make it to the other side and complete his mission. And he's telling me this over lunch, like on a break while we're filming this car commercial. And I was just like, may I film this, sir? I will follow you into the breach. Like, let's do this. And he's like, you want him? Like, yes, please. And so that's, to answer your question, my head was, I knew Eddie to be a man of his word. If he said he was going to do something, he was going to do something. So if he said he was going to do this insane stunt to honor Stuntman and his childhood hero, and I was going to get to film it, that was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen sooner than it wound up happening. But the logistics of, stuntmen get hired by film productions to do a stunt in a film that a guy wrote or someone directed. You don't just sort of go out and go, I'm going to do a stunt for doing stunt's sake. So this is the first time anyone really did that. So he winds up building an exact replica of the rocket. He found the son of Robert Truax, the NASA guy. He had his dad's specs, and like I got chills listening to this. So this and the son was like, my dad on live television, when Evel's rocket went to the canyon, he got made fun of, and like in his obituary was, the man who screwed up Evel Knievel's rocket. It's like, this is the founding father of NASA. He debriefed Werner von Braun when we got him from the Nazis. Like, this guy was, again, no slouch, but he ended his career as a guy who screwed up the thing. So he wanted to, correct his father's legacy and prove that the rocket was going to work. So now you have these two men that have these like parallel journeys of like doing this. Canyon meant so much to Eddie and also meant to Scott Truax, the son. So I'm just like filming, going, I can't believe the story I'm just documenting. Like it's a Hollywood film. It's like a superhero action film. So that's the film. I guess you don't need to see it now, but that's sort of, I won't tell you how it ends, but it's it's pretty insane, and it's worth the ride.
It's worth the watch. I mean, you're selling it short too. I mean, honestly, how epic it is and all the pieces, and it's like this giant puzzle, and like, okay, we got to get all the pieces to fit just right, and there's a thing with the financing and the thing with the dates and the thing. It was supposed to be live on TV and like all these different things that come and go. Can you talk a little bit? I mean, obviously, what a big name. This is executive produced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Like that's a huge thing in today. I mean, what was it like when you heard it and how like that came all about? I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was just this strange par for the course of how this journey began. It was like make no mistake, like this was hard, like, blood, sweat, tears went into my tears, two girlfriends' tears, a different, like I went through two relationships. I moved like it was 7 years of my life. And we were just Eddie and I and Steve Golubiowski, my producing partner, we were just like, we're just going to, no matter what happens, we're going to finish this movie. Because after he did the launch, it was still putting the film together and trying to get it sold and finding a distributor and all that kind of stuff. That was almost more anxiety filled than the actual day of launching this rocket. So we finished the thing, and the first thing that we wanted to do was show the stunt community when it was done, because we wanted their blessing. And one of the stuntmen who saw it was this great guy named Tunaway Reed. And he said, gosh, this is really fantastic. I'd love to show my cousin, who I'm also his stunt double, Dwayne Johnson. And we were like, oh, that'd be amazing. But he had been involved in this project earlier, because at one point it was going to be a live television event. And when it was a live television event, his company $7 was going to help produce it. So they were going to, and I, as the documentary filmmaker, was like, so the ending to my movie is going to be broadcast, and all right. But then that fell through, and as sad as I was for my friend Eddie, I was like, okay, we still got a movie here. So there was this perfect convergence of, his cousin stunt double showing him the film and him going, oh, I remember when this guy was going to do it. So it kind of clicked, and he saw it, and he loved it. And he's like, how can I help? And that was just, you know what? I'm going to revise my previous answer about what was my insane moment. I can't believe I'm here. That was the moment when I found out that he was going to come aboard as our executive producer. That was just I felt like we were in good hands at that point, and we were, because we wound up getting it on Disney Plus and all that stuff. So I'm very grateful and very thankful that it happened. But make no mistake, it was a journey. There was a lot of time I was like, I'm gonna make a movie about a stuntman who doesn't jump the Snake River Canyon, because it was just logistics was just so crazy. But yeah, so that was amazing. And he was he and his production company, because we wound up doing some more work to it, because we wanted to make it longer and add some more stuff, and so they were helpful with ideas and notes, and so they were just wonderful collaborators and partners. And I'm so grateful of their involvement.
That's so cool. And no spoilers. He kind of opens the movie. He does a little thing at the beginning, which was very cool to when someone's so passionate about something and believes in something, that they're he's putting his stamp on it. He's putting, hey, I'm backing this. I'm using my persona, which, I mean, damn near everybody in the world now knows The Rock. So that's such a, it, like, as a viewer, that's going like, wow, this guy's, he's putting his stamp on it, and like that, I got to pay attention, because if he's involved, I got to pay attention. So that was really cool. And Kaz in the chats, I see your question. I'm going to put a little spin on it. So I got you, buddy. So I'm curious. Again, this movie takes place over such a long time. How different from what you originally, and I think we kind of touched on it, but what you originally envisioned for this film versus kind of what it eventually turned out, right? Because knowing everything that happened towards the end and in the middle, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. So how far did you stray from kind of what was the original envision of this film?
Well, as I learned, this is my first feature documentary. I dabbled, as I dabble in a lot of things up until this point. And the other thing I told was like, it's not going to look like the way you thought it was going to be when you're done. Because the one interesting thing about making documentaries is you can just start. Our co-producer, Rob Wilson, who's a seasoned documentary producer, he said, you don't have to wait for a script. You don't have to cast it. You don't have to spend years in development. You can just get a camera and just start filming. And that's the beauty of documentaries. What they don't tell you is that how long it takes, and then how long it takes to shape that story in the editing room. I mean, when you're editing, it's kind of like trying to piece that all together. So the odd thing is, CQ, I'll say this to you, when Eddie told me about what he was going to do, hand to God, I had this vision of this sort of parting shot in the film, and was very powerful, and that's what got me excited. And it would be strange to say that, well, how could I do that? Because I'm following this man's story, and I'm not I'm directing the film, but I'm not like staging it. I'm just sort of making sure I'm there to capture these moments and make sure the camera's there at the right time when these moments happen. And there's this last shot in the film while we were doing it, and one of the last ones, and I'm just like, this is exactly what I envisioned. I kind of get like, I'm not saying I'm a genius. I just started freaking out. Like, I got really sweaty, and like I thought maybe it was a time loop, or maybe I was dreaming the whole thing, because it was just such an emotional roller coaster of a day filming that. But the film, it was not exactly the way it was I envisioned, but some of these moments were came out, and they just naturally occurred, and that was the most strange thing I think that happened, because that's not normal in documentaries. You don't have a vision of the ending, because it never usually works that way. But as we were going, I thought the story was going to end a lot sooner, because events were going to take place that was going to help expedite his journey, and then certain things happened that wound up prolonging his journey, and while prolonging it, that's where we got into the meat of the story and stuff like that. So
it's the hero's journey. It's the trials and the tribulations. If it was all easy, that's a half an hour special. but
exactly. And I love Hollywood movies, and I just I'm looking at the stuff, and I'm like, this man's stories, his naturally occurring story arc, is that of a Hollywood film. Like, the turn in Act 1, the twist in Act 2, the triumphant Act 3. I'm like, we're making a nonfiction Hollywood action movie. This is crazy, and it just happened. It's just lining up. There's no like, we're not forcing stuff around. And as a matter of fact, my sound guy was on a lot of reality TV, and every sort of strange, wonderful moment that would happen between something two stunt guys said, he just had this look on his face. I'm like, Chris, is everything all right? He's like, we usually have to stage stuff, you know. I'm like just that's stuntmen for you. They have wonderful stories, right, wonderful moments. Just keep up. Just keep up. That's all I could say.
That's awesome. I'm curious. We're not gonna talk about it here, but when we throw this to the break, I want to ask you, because I think I know the shot you're talking about, and I want to pick your mind and see if I nail it. But I think we're there. We'll talk about that.
Awesome.
So, man, there's so much too, and we're running short on time. So I'm gonna make sure we get all this. Okay, we talked about the roadblocks and kind of, you know, the different things. And because we touched on it just a little bit, and I want to go further. As a director of a documentary where you have to be almost passive, almost like I'm just here to capture it, how much artistic choice do you really get in making this film? You know what I mean? In the different, you know, the different phases of production, like how much of it do you really get to, and how much is it just like, hey man, it happened and we were just here?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest hand of a craftsman as a film director maker in this process was the editing. And it felt like it's a reverse engineered Hollywood film. You're actually, as my producer Steven observed, like you're writing a screenplay with footage, and you're sort of making these decisions to shape. I don't want to make it sound like we edited him to make him something that he's not, but there's definitely similar processes where you're shaping a character, you're shaping a story, so much so that like there's a really long, boring version of this movie out there if anyone wants to. And I'll tell you, like, you can't get through it. And that just says something about what happens in the editing room, especially for documentaries. Like, that's truly where the story takes shape. And to Eddie's credit, you know, he just said, have at it. Like, I hired my friend Jeremy Zuckerman, who composed all the music for Avatar: The Last Airbender. He did the score. You know, the tone and the vibe and the feeling of the film is very much, you know, I guess me in a weird way, because Eddie did this stunt because it was the sum of all of his experiences. He could not have gotten to that rocket and may or may not have made it, because of the result of it. And I just said, oh, I could not have done this film, you know, fresh out of school. Like, this was the sum of all my experiences. Like, I took me a year and change just to get it to a functioning cut, and you know, getting comfortable with Eddie's family. So I felt comfortable being a fly in the wall, so I could capture these moments. So I guess to answer your question, the tone and the vibe, the soundtrack, the pacing, the intensity, the sort of arc of the story is where you truly have a hand in, because that's what you got to kind of shape it to be something that you know, that's got a good structure. And our other executive producer, Julie Benson, she was is a TV writer, and she writes comic books too. She used to write Green Arrow. She did a long run on Batgirl and Birds of Prey, and she was very helpful because she was really good at understanding story structure. And even though it's nonfiction, even though it's this man's life and it's his story, you still sort of had to fit it into this sort of structure that we realized was happening naturally. And she was very helpful because all of us had like so much emotions attached to every frame of footage. She was very good at going, well, that scene's stupid. Take that out. That's dumb. I'm bored here. How am I bored in a movie called Stuntman? But I am. So she was like this perfect set of eyes to just kind of gut check things. And so that was, I knew that her perspective as a fresh outsider who hadn't lived through the ordeal would be able to be very objective about some of these decisions on what went in and went out of the movie. And again, we didn't, nothing's fake. Nothing's like, you know, scripted. There's no CGI. It is definitely as it happened. It's just presented in a way and crafted in a way with a soundtrack to make it feel, again, like this sort of nonfiction action movie.
Right. Yeah. I think about it like I did a bunch of combat deployments. Not every day is a firefight. Not every day is a shootout. You're just trimming out all the, like, we're just sitting around smoking. Like, you're just trimming all that out and getting all the highlights. It as we're talking and as I'm thinking about the picture, like he's a modern day superhero, and I'm like, he puts on the like he has his mild mannered life, like you see him in his element and the kids and the wife, and he's very, like, you couldn't pick him out of a lineup as this guy, and he puts on the suit, puts on the helmet, and he goes to work, and he's just doing these ridiculous superhuman feats. I mean, you made a superhero movie. I mean, really, you did, because it's incredible.
Thank you. That is music to my ears. That was the other sort of agenda. I'm like, because as you know, I'm a big comic guy, and like hearing that, like I picked up on those parallels, and to hear you say that back to me, it's just like, thank you, CQ. And so much so, that's exactly it. They don't do it for fame. They don't do it for notoriety. They do it because they just love it, and they want to protect people and make sure people are safe on set. And they wear a cool suit while they're doing it. Sometimes they wear a mask and a helmet. So yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that, because that was definitely a North
and they
Star.
put their life on the line, man. I've maybe me more because I'm tuned into this stuff, but like I read stories about this stuntman on this set, like the thing goes wrong and it goes into the water, and oh my God, tragic drowning, or there's the Daredevil guy who just died 2 weeks ago trying to do the longest jump on his motorcycle, 319 feet, and died on impact. Like these are people putting themselves out there, and in 80's case, it's for entertainment, right? It's for 4 seconds that might or might not make the cut of a movie or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. I'm so glad you did this story for them. Let me ask you, having spent so much time around stuntmen as you did, what do you think is the biggest misconception about the craft, about the people, about the job, whatever, of stuntmen?
That's a great question. I think the biggest misconception is that they're a little nuts. They're irresponsible. They just want to have fun. They want to show off. There's something not quite right with them. And everyone I met is just so grounded and so passionate about their craft. And they'll tell you they're not daredevils. They're like, we only do something if we know it's going to be safe. And we know it's going to be safe because we've either done it before or other people have, and we collaborate and we talk. And Buddy Joe Hooker is one of the elder statesmen, the Greek chorus in the film, and he has been doing stunts since the 60s. And he actually was in the rocket car in Hooper, the Hal Needham, Burt Reynolds film, which is all about stuntmen. And he said the same thing. He's like, daredevils just do their thing and they don't know what's going to happen. Evel Knievel was like that. I'm going to jump this canyon. I'm not sure what's going to happen. This poor man on the bike, I'm going to try and do it. I don't know what's happening. Stuntmen, like, I want to know what's going to happen. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. So just hearing how committed and responsible they are. And the best takeaway from I've never met people who are like, there's this phrase that Eddie says, let your yeses be yes and your no's be no. And that speaks so much volumes to them as a community, because if you say, hey, I'm going to double for Ryan Gosling and I will jump off the bridge, as it's called on page 90 of the script, I'm going to do it. So $100,000 worth of crew is standing at the thing. You can't go, on second thought, now that I'm here, I see how high it is. Like, I'm not so sure. Like, you have to be committed and you have to be prepared to do this thing. And and they have the best production stories. Like, they have the greatest stories. And that's why I wish I could have included more in this film, because there was just so much. I mean, it was a tough balance because it is very much an odyssey. It is about a man's quest to jump this canyon and complete his childhood hero's mission. But at the same time, we're getting this look into the world of a real look at how stunts really look, and what really happens to people when they perform them, and what it can do to you. And so it was like trying to find that balance was another big thing. But no, they're intelligent, committed movie lovers like nobody's business,
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely took away how extraordinarily more dangerous it is than I thought. Being a guy, I love this. I watch the stunts and I go like, oh, that's cool. And like it's different seeing it in a movie versus like being in the cockpit with the guy and like see, oh my god, he exploded inside.
Yeah.
So it's way more dangerous, but at the same time, it's also there's so much more safety involved than I ever thought. Like I thought it was like, put the bomb in, I push the button, I blow. But like there's so many, obviously the equipment and the cars and the people and the all this stuff and like there's a point towards the climax, again, no spoilers, but like you're getting to this moment and it was like it was almost a frustration because it's like time slows down. It's like, okay, do we check this? Do we check that? Do we check this? It's like, oh my god, just do it. Like, but it pays off in the sense that like so much thought and care goes into this. I mean, what could be the last thing you ever do for all you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they really took it serious.
They do, and just to tie it back to why we're here and why we're talking, this was, because of you and other people in the military, you make these sacrifices and stuff and experience things that most civilians never experience. And the closest thing I think I came to was on this launch day. And again, without spoiling the film, like there was several moments where I was like, I'm about to film a man die. Like he's not going to survive this. And the feeling I got with that realization was I don't ever want to feel that again. And I just can't imagine, when you were talking earlier about like sit around smoking and then have some combat fire, then sit around smoking. It's like, how do you get that feeling to go away and jump back in is just beyond me. And like getting a taste of like, that kind of outcome was it's still, I'll be honest, I still get a little shaken up thinking about it because it was just, I never been in that experience before because again, this was not a stunt that was planned or even had a successful outcome when someone tried it before. So, getting just a touch of that, sir, like, thank you for your service. Like, I don't know how you put the cigarette down and go back out again, because that feeling I got, that just sank into my balls. I was just like, that was nuts. It was beyond crazy. So
yeah, we're all a little crazy. We're like, kind of like stuntmen in that. We're just like, just go out and do it again. Bigger bomb next time.
Do it again. Bigger bomb.
Bigger bomb.
Okay.
We're coming to the end. Once again, guys, Stuntman, Disney Plus, July 23rd. I know Snake Eyes is out there. I know He-Man's out there. There's time enough for all of it, but I can't employ. And here's the thing: my audience knows I don't push things that I don't believe in. I'll watch stuff and I'll be like, it was all right. Check it out if you want. I'm telling you, you guys got to watch this. It's an incredible piece. Me and my wife are big fans on based on true story. I mean, you can't get more based on a true story than the actual story as it's happening. So we were big fans of it. Really enjoyed it. I want to give you a chance. Talk directly to the audience. Where can they follow you on social media? Where can they help promote the show? I mean, how can they connect with you?
Oh, I am on Instagram at Kurt Mattila, KurtMattila. That's probably a good place to find me. I forgot that I still have a Facebook account, but I might be phasing that out because we were glitchy the whole night apparently. I mean, what good is that, So yeah, that's the best place to. I think there's going to be like a Stuntman movie website, and I can't say when, but there will be an actual trailer. Years ago, The Rock put something on his Instagram. He did a teaser years ago that was really cool, but that was just like a little tease from 2018. So we've since obviously done a lot more. And sometime between now and July 23rd, there will be a proper trailer and a proper poster. We just can't say when because they haven't told me. So
of all your experience of editing a trailer, they didn't even let you do that. Come on.
No, it's funny you should say that. And by the way, we can chat for a little bit longer. Okay. We don't, if the plug gets pulled, the trailer is really good, and it was the first time someone else besides me. I edited the movie, So it was nice to see someone else's perspective. And all I can say is, oh, it's a perfect distillation of the film. I knew all the tricks. Like they didn't have to upsell it or put something here and change things to make it more dramatic. So that's all I can say on that. I probably said too much, but the experience with Disney, by the way, was really amazing. The funny part was, someone in legal was going through because we had a lot of footage that we had to make sure was cleared, and she said, I couldn't get through. It was too intense. I had to turn it off. I was freaking out, and I was like, oh, that's good. You're still buying it, right? Like you're still going to distribute it, like, right? Is that still happen? But no, they've been great. They're behind it, and it's just another one of those moments. Like I can't believe that they are that they're the ones that put their stamp on it and are going to put it out into the world. So yeah.
I got a ton more questions. By no means am I gonna. I'm not kicking you out. All right, that's not how we do it.
We haven't talked comics enough, or some of the items that are behind you and still mint in the box and so on and so forth.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Let's go for a little while longer. And, round out the pop culture nerd talk. This is where if people thought I was kind of cool and collective, this is where as soon as we bring up comics, it's over. I just go, oh yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's why people tune into this. They love this stuff. Well,
just real quick about your last show. I just like to answer the question, the golden age that we're living in. It's like, I remember as a kid, it was, who do you think would win in a fight, the Hulk or the Thing? Now it's, who do you think would perform oral sex on Catwoman? I don't know. It may not be Batman. If they do
heroes don't do that. That's what they told us.
Matt Murdock would if he did a little cross promotion, because that guy he's a hero in that respects. Why else would Elektra come back every time from the dead? She first stopped to see Matt Murdock.
It's so funny, man. Like that was a great callback, man. Awesome callback. But the whole heroes don't do that. I mean, then what are we all fighting for? I mean, God damn it. I fought for this country, and if it's not so that Batman could go down on Catwoman, I don't know what I did. Why'd I do any of it? So
amazing.
But if you had, so obviously discounting all or not discounting all the things that have been done, is there something where you're like, man, if I had the money, if I had the backing, I would love to take this property and put my spin on it? You ever think about that? Like, what toy would you like to play with?
All the time. And then what winds up happening is they release announcement that Moon Knight's coming. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I got really mad because I'm like, that's one of my first loves, Mark Spector, the ex-mercenary who was possessed by, the god of Egyptian god of vengeance. And I found out the guys who made it, and I'm like, who are these subpar film? And I watched their film Synchronic, and it's amazing. I don't know if you've seen Synchronic. I highly recommend it. It's a time travel story, but the mood and the tone, it's very Philip K. Dick. It's like this sort of street level view of the strange story. It's about these two paramedics. Anthony Mackie's one of them, and essentially there's a party drug that one of the side effects is it makes you travel through time. And the mood and the atmosphere and the vibe was quite something. I'm like, if they can put some of that to Moon Knight, once again, CQ, we're in good hands. We're in good hands.
Oh,
but
man.
To answer your question, it's funny. Speaking of the military, like I got into comics. I mean, as much as I love superheroes, but it was G.I. Joe that got me into Marvel Comics, like without a doubt. Like G.I. Joe and then G.I. Combat, and I've actually recently been reading. There's a 70s series called Weird War Tales by Joe Kubert and whatever, and they're beautiful art, some great stories. But there's a character called the Spectre that I've always been interested in.
The
Spectre.
the Spectre. Yeah, green and gray.
Yeah. There's this neat intersection of like corrupt cop gone wrong to like vengeful spirit. Like there's a little James Ellroy, there's a little supernatural, and he's a character that the Superman guy co-created back in the day, Jerry Jerry Siegel, Joe Shuster. Siegel and Shuster. I always mess that up. But he's been around since the 40s. There's in the 70s, they did a great run where it was almost like I'm not a big horror guy, but there's something fascinating about this. Like they'd have like these like Twilight Zone horror stories, and the Spectre would come in, and it was just all very chilling. So I kind of like that. And then there's this D-list character on Marvel that appeared in Marvel Premiere and then later on in Daredevil and then a few times in McFarlane's run during Spider-Man called Paladin. And Paladin is just, he's a mercenary. He's like, you have some trouble with Hydra? Here's my fee. Oh, you don't want to pay me? Go call Spider-Man. He was like the Han Solo of the Marvel universe. But something about his costume and his mentality I thought was kind of interesting. But all the big guns, the big toys are in good hands, and man, oh man, I'm so happy. Like WandaVision, I thought was great. It wasn't as Tom King-y run as I thought it was going to be, but it was still quite something. So,
well, I mean, hey, you now got connections with Disney Plus, man. Hey, with that Paladin series, I'm gonna be listening to see if I hear it coming out.
You heard it here first. Be like, hey, you know that what a good problem that would have.
We're selling it, but no, I agree. Spectre is something that has been really on no one's radar. I know if you follow the entire Arrowverse, there's a brief moment where they had the big like crossover event, the Infinite Crisis, Earth, whatever, and then. You know, he kind of Green Arrow kind of dies and kind of comes back as the Spectre, and it's like a whole thing. But they haven't done that character justice yet. I agree. I'd be in on that. I'll back it.
Who should do it is like Guillermo del Toro. You know, like let's be honest. You know, I would love to take a spin, but I would yield to someone like him because it's that kind of vibe. Because we haven't had like a good, except for Blade, the first Blade, we haven't had like a good sort of comic book horror type film.
Sure.
You know, they sort of merged the genres a little bit. So
and I know when they talked about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the new one that's coming out, the first things that came out was like, oh, this is gonna be a horror movie, and everybody's like, wait, what? Wait, what? And then you're like, okay, well, you bring in Raimi and you know his background in Army of the Dead and all this, and like it's. They're obviously they kind of backtrack. They're like, okay, it's not gonna be a horror movie. There'll just be horror elements into it, and it's like, all right, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I think I think you're right. And with the success of something like Doctor Strange, because the first one was pretty trippy. It was pretty trippy. Like if you were on the wrong kind of shrooms and like watch that movie, your head explodes. But you know, you take that, you give it to Sam Raimi, and then hey, go off and run with it. I'm sure it could be. It could lead into those kind of. I was talking to somebody about like the Marvel Knights, right? You have your Punisher, your Daredevil, and those guys, and kind of run with the dark edge, Werewolf by Night, and things like that, you know, and really run with it. No, that's so cool. I never get to geek out with people like this. This is fun.
I'm worried about the Flash movie, and I'll tell you why. Like we're all excited about Michael Keaton's appearance way more than it's a Flash movie, and so you got to go like
that's what I said.
It's like you're like just do Dark Knight Returns with the Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne. Like just stop beating around the bush. Just that's what we want. You know, I don't know if Ezra Miller. I don't ever throw shade on these things because I love all of them and to a certain degree. But you know, that seems troubling that we're excited about this cameo and not more than the actual film.
I said the same. I've said the same thing multiple times. I said, you know, when you want your superhero movie to stand on the superhero, and then you know you start like, okay, we did Superman. Okay, it was pretty good. Superman Batman featuring Wonder Woman. It's like, whoa, okay, now this is getting a little muddled, and then it's like Justice League. Like, whoa, my God, it's like the fact that they're saying, hey, it's the Flash movie featuring Supergirl, Batman, the other Batman, the older Batman, like it's like the Flash is in this, right? Like he's in this one. Like is that?
The only time they pulled that off successfully was Civil War, Captain America.
Civil War.
Like they balanced it somehow. They put that all those characters and they got it right. And I hope they crack the code with the Flash, because we want all these to be good and no, I told you so, you know. But yeah, it's
no, yeah, I say the same thing. Like, look, we can say when we feel like some house of ideas is not coming up with the good stuff, but I want them all to be successful. To counter your Dark Knight, I was like, just make Batman Beyond, like make old man
Batman Beyond,
like old man Batman, and you can make him from the '89 era that he just lived long enough to be in the future, and give him a sidekick, and boom, we're off and running. But to do the Flash thing, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, and the Snyderverse too. Like the thing I gotta give the guy credit because it's like they tried really hard to make a flavor that was different from the Marvel movies.
Yep.
And it's a flavor that no one really wanted, but man, oh man, they committed to trying to do something different, and that Snyder cut was it was good. It was an interesting lesson in like making sure you stick to your vision and don't get too crazy with that stuff. So I don't know. I admire the attempt, but like the execution was a little strange.
I get it. I agree with you. Like you don't need to copy and paste what Marvel's doing just because it's successful. Just because it's making money. God forbid you copy and paste that. But you got to know the tone of the content. Applying the Dark Knight filter to Superman maybe wasn't the right move. Like I don't need a Superman that's popping dudes' heads off. Like that doesn't sit right with me as an audience member. But
I'm with you. Man of Steel, strange feat. Great soundtrack. I thought the soundtrack was really good.
Right.
So.
Well, while we're reminiscing here, let me ask you: a director, you worked with a lot of talent. You've been around the block for a little bit. Any funny anecdotes you can tell us behind the scenes? Maybe a certain actor or a certain big name. You don't have to name names, but just something that might be surprising or just a little hilarious to find out.
Yeah, there's one comes to mind, and again, this brings us back to my nerdery report because that was like my baptism of fire. But Tom Cruise is in this film; he's the star, and his character, is at those scenes now where he's analyzing the dreams to find the clues to when this murder is going to happen in the future, and he's trying to find moments and stuff, and that's the stuff that me and my team was responsible for. I always imagine him as being like an editor, like he's looking through dream footage to find clues.
Right.
But in the script they always talked about that being a thing, but no one really sort of like, so what does that look like? So my buddy and I made this little previs, and we showed Steve, and he's like, oh, we'll do that. So comes to the day that we're going to film that scene, and you show up, and the set is beautiful, but he's working against a blank screen. There's nothing there to sort of cue him as to what all this stuff is. And what I observed was the following, CQ. They were rewriting the script, giving him new lines to say, and they were blocking the scene. And what that means is, make sure you step here when you say this line, and Colin Farrell comes in and you talk to him there. So there's that level of memorization. Then the third level is Steven goes, go tell Tom what you want to do with this thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I went up and like, Mr. Cruise, so at this moment, you're going to see a thing. So zoom in like this. And then we're giving all this minutia stuff to like track in his mind. And he goes, okay. He disappears for 5 minutes, comes back, they roll camera, and he does everything. Hits all his marks, says all the new lines, and then does all the bullshit minutia we just asked him to do in one take. It was perfect. And they yell cut. I'm just like, am I the only one who just witnessed the feat of like like how did he remember to do all that? It was impossible. It was impossible. So that was the one all I think of is just like, I guess that's why he gets paid all this money, because he's like a sponge. He absorbed all that stuff and then he's like spit it out perfectly. I to this day I can't believe what I witnessed. So
I can only imagine what he was doing with those 5 minutes.
Yeah, what was he doing with those 5 minutes? He's like, yes. Beams were coming down. Maybe those.
Speaking of L. Ron
DC-10 came in. Yeah, L. Ron was his acting coach. Yeah. I'm sure. Gave him some kind of tip.
That's awesome.
Man, well, that's a whole other podcast, right?
It's a whole other conversation. I met Tom once, and it was a very strange interaction. It was at his. It was a birthday party, but it wasn't a birthday party in the sense it was at this grand hall. He was having. It was almost kind of like a roast Yeah, it was kind of like a roast, but also
semi-roast.
Yeah, it was a weird thing because it was like I kind of want to be roasted, but like I don't want to be roasted, and then there was performances, and it was a whole thing. It was a big gala hall, and I'm sure lovely guy. I'm sure. And the thing that stays with me whenever I see him on theaters and movies and Mission Impossible flying off planes and things is he had this really weird laugh, and that he kind of laughed with his whole body, and it like convulsed, and he would like, and he was sitting, so I'm sure that's a little bit different, but he would like rock back and forth like this weird metronome and laugh, and I just in my head I don't know why I was like, that's what a robot pretending to be human, like that's how he would act. Like, how do I laugh? Ha 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 ha. And it was just it was so strange that so now no matter
it now.
Yeah, like no matter how cool
They'll
he looks in
never mistake
movies. Exactly. No matter how cool he looks in movies, I keep thinking like, is that Tom Cruise? Is that the thing that replaced Tom Cruise? I don't know. It is strange though. I get one last question. Just from obviously again, you spent so much time with Stuntman, and we kind of touched on CGI. Where do you see like? I see things like Avatar, and where it's this all CGI. You just know there's really no practical. I swear the ground is CGI at this point. These guys are just in space. I mean, where do you see the line? Will there ever be a time where like, stuntmen might be out of work, or is this something that's so ingrained in film history and that like it'll never go away? The CGI will never replace it. I mean, where do you see kind of the line with that?
So it brings me. It's two things. Response to that. One, yes, it's part of film history. It's ingrained to film history. They should have an Oscar category for best stunts, only because film has evolved so much, and whereas stunts have always been part of the filmmaking process, the genre of films that we're doing now requires so much more sophisticated stunt work than in previous years that it seems crazy to not go, okay, well, this whole amazing sequence in Skyfall, the stunt coordinator and the director of photography were like hand in hand figuring that stuff out with the director. Like that's a key component to the filmmaking process. Obviously, I think there's a slight Academy snobbery because it's genre specific. In the same way, like best costuming probably shines the most in a period drama, which makes sense. Like, oh, look at that costume. But these insane action films, the ones that wind up getting like best sound or best sound editing, chances are it's with sequences that, a lot of times these stunt coordinators are very collaborative and help design that stuff. So they should be, they should have their own category. I mean, at this point, it seems crazy that they don't. And so bringing it to your actual question, I think it's always going to be a part of it, because in this now great dominant genre we have now, which is the comic book movie, Anthony Mackie as the Falcon, now Captain America, he's that role is half acting, half fighting. And he's not doing all the fighting. Someone else is doing that. So whereas, you don't necessarily need to have I'm not saying like, well, you got to get best stunt double goes to whatever, but just sort of this encompassing best stunts, I think is the thing. So you'll always need to have someone performing stunts, performing the stuff. And I think we know when something's CG, and we'll obviously get to a point where it's great, but there's so many directors now that are also very much trying to get stuff in camera. Like I heard Chloe Zhao said that a lot of Eternals is like very little CG, like she tried to get as much stuff in the actual frame. So there's a stylistic choice that we have to sort of still work in with stunt sequences where they're all proverbially in camera. Like they have some enhancements, but it's happening for real. And I think the biggest breakthrough that they did on The Mandalorian with creating this dome, so you can sort of essentially be in those virtual worlds. Well, you can still do elaborate stunt sequences in that, but you just now don't have to worry about comping it all the time. So I think we're always going to need it because there's, you just can't CG fake like a good, Spielbergy and Indiana Jones punch. Like you still need that guy to like go into the car and all that kind of stuff. So, and again, these, like we're talking earlier about the car stuff, like until there's a, like I said, stunt setting on a driverless car, you're still going to need someone to maneuver that vehicle and get it in the right place and spin it and turn it. And it's also like it's, again, stylistic choice. We're going to want that legacy. We're going to want to see those types of stunts to continually be performed because we're smart. We're audiences. We're like, yeah, that's I know it's good, but like you still know that it's fake, and there's just something about the real impact and the real stuff. So yeah, that's my
it kind of the way I look at it, like technology. We were making cell phones. We were making them smaller and smaller and smaller, and all of a sudden this critical path happened, and all of a sudden now they've gotten bigger and big. Like the technology changed. You realize, I can watch TV on there, so you got to make them bigger and bigger. CGI became this thing. I remember Toy Story coming out, and because you had practical, you had Jurassic Park where they were making these big, animatronic dinosaurs, but then like the CGI a little bit, and then it's like, oh wow, that looks good, and then it was a little bit more, and then it was a little bit more, and then all of a sudden, I think we did hit this critical point where all of a sudden too much was CGI. You look at maybe like The Matrix, that it doesn't really age well when you've got 8,000, Agent Smiths or whatever. And it's like, after a couple of years, you're like, oh, that doesn't look right. So it then kind of, they had that backtrack where they go, okay, let's try to blend. I look at, and I hate to say it, Fast and Furious franchise, where they say, okay, let's try to do practical car flip, but now you just slide into CGI just enough to help flourish the scene. I mean, I think that's like the future, right? That's as realistic as possible with just, CGI smoothing out the edges.
CGI enhancements, but still the core is still a shot. It's still a performance. We forget it's a performance. Like you're a stunt performer is performing, and even if you're in a motion capture suit, you're still, you're still doing the thing. So we need that. We need that.
Absolutely. Oh man, this has been an absolute fantastic conversation. One more time for everyone that's out there, Kurt Mattila. It's Stuntman. See it on Disney Plus, July 23rd. I'll be reminding people weekly, and then as we lead up to the release, we'll talk about it again after everybody gets to see it. But Kurt, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Have you had a good time?
I had a great time. It's always great talking pop culture, comic stuff with a fellow fan. So and thanks for watching the film and the stuff you said about, again, it is nice hearing it from a new audience member. And I had a wonderful time here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. And when we capture what the audience thinks about it, I'll send that to you too, man. I'll send you all the positive reviews, man, and I'll smack all the negative ones if there were any. But all right, guys, we're gonna take a short break. I'm gonna go say bye to Kurt, and we'll wrap up the show shortly after that. We'll be right back. Hi, guys. Hello. Sorry about the music. I don't know, man. I don't know. There might have been an update or something didn't. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Next week, there will be music. Next week, there will be sound effects. Sorry. The whole, if you guys were caught the beginning of the show, the whole echo thing and the, man, oh, what a day. Regardless, how frickin' awesome was Kurt Mattila? I mean, again, I can't say it enough. Really, really, really go check out when you can. I did it first. But when you can, next month, I'll remind you guys, July 23rd, Disney Plus, check out Stuntman. It is so good. It is so good. I won't give anything away, but it's such a good movie. And I'm so happy that Kurt took the time to come on and talk about it. What a cool dude! What a cool dude, man. Got to geek out. And oh my goodness, we're getting a call. Hello, Pop Culture Warrior. Who's this?
That was pretty freaking awesome.
It's Ice. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, brother? Man, dude, that was pretty nostalgic. I'm willing to bet you too that Kaz was
You're about to date yourself, ain't you? You're about to date yourself.
I was about to say, yeah, me and Kaz had Evel Knievel little wind-up toys, and I had a Sky Cycle when I was a kid too. So I was like, man, I'm just sorry. I know I'm supposed to be on vacation and I'm just chilling, but I just, me, when it comes to the geek shit, I really wanted to come in and. First off, I wanted to tell the dude, hey, Kurt, why are you hating on the funny Ghost Rider? What's up with that? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that Ghost Rider. Nick Cage is the man for Ghost Rider. I mean, of
never
course,
said it was bad, just it was funny.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was just some other. Maybe it's nostalgia. Maybe it's because the same thing with the like the Batman. Everyone has their favorite Batman.
Yeah.
But anyways,
dude.
Yeah, it's a good interview, dude. I was kind of surprised he kept it going. That was
that was all him, man. That was all him. He wanted, and how cool is it that he went back and watched old episodes?
I'm gonna tell you what, we get a lot of yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But he said, I mean, because I always listen to everybody's shows anyways, but just to kind of like listen in and just tech stuff. Sorry about your music, dude. That's crazy.
We'll fix that.
But he mentioned some stuff that only a listener of WTF Nation Radio would get, like some of the nuance, some of the. So I was like, that is pretty cool, man. So
yeah, he was so cool, man. He was so down to earth, so humble, so chill, and I really highly Ice. I'm telling you, I don't mince words here. You got to check out Stuntman. It is a phenomenal movie. It was. As a man, I had emotions. I had emotions. It touched me. Right there.
As a man, oh well, okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious because I mean, for us dudes, it's hard to get to those movies. It's hard to get. It's hard to get to the feels. It's hard to get to watch a. So for some dudes, it's some of the things where people be like crying. I'll watch a movie with somebody, or I'll be in a date or hanging out with whatever, and next people are fucking bawling, and I'm like, what are you crying about? It's not that sad. And then I watch a movie and it's got some feels to it, then I'm like, oh my god! You start like thinking about shit. What about the dog?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Especially if you grew up because I didn't grow up with Evel Knievel. I knew about him. I heard about him. But if you grew up in it, this is a love letter to him. And there's so much archival footage of him and interviews, and at one point they bring out the original Sky Cycle all banged up and stuff. So for me to be kind of worked up and wow, this means something for someone who, was alive when the dinosaurs were around. This is really gonna hit home.
Bro, I think one of the biggest things that really tripped me out was when his stunts It's like you had the stunts, and you heard about Evel Knievel doing all of his stunts like that, and Harley Davidson, and he was jumping on Harley Davidson, and he freaking did that stunt, the Caesar's Palace freaking fountain jump. I mean, before I was born, just a couple years before I was born. But I was a kid, so I was like, I don't know, right before Star Wars came out, I would say. I saw first that they were talking about Evel Knievel and the greatest stuntman ever and yada yada, and I was just like, oh shit. Then I started watching just not really documentaries, but some of just reruns of the jump. In other words, his Caesar Palace jump was so bad that they had to cut to censors because back in the day you couldn't watch movies or you couldn't watch TV. I mean, they'll show like Charlie's Angels and chicks running around in skimpy ass clothes, but a dude busting his bones all over the parking lot of Caesar Palace they would not show. And yeah, it was just the sky cycle jump, everything. I mean, I remember you having a little freaking the little motorcycle. You just wound it up and then little friction wind up thing, and he took off and jump ramps and yeah, dude.
Good times, man. Good times.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to say hey, cool interview, and I wanted to get into some of the Iron Man stuff, but I figured by then it would be too forget it. He was already going on, but that was some pretty good stuff, and of course heroes do things like that. They just go back to that, so I'll just heroes do that.
Batman's always up in the Batcave. Tell me he's not. He's always out there splunking.
He's out there. He's always right. Yeah. He's sometimes with rappel equipment, sometimes not.
Yeah, sometimes he's free diving in that thing. You don't know. You don't know what Batman do. Why do you think the bottom part's cut out of the mask? Boom. Oh, there it is.
Boom. Exactly.
There it is.
Exactly.
There it is.
The box retrieval. The box retrieval area. That's what it is.
That's all it is, man. All right. Hey, I'm gonna call it a night. Hey, Ice,
cool.
hang on for a minute. Hang on for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Okay. I'll hang on.
Let me toss. But guys, once again, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, Ice, for joining. Kurt Mattila, Tyler for calling in, Mike for calling in. You guys are awesome. This has been Pop Culture Warrior. We love talking to you guys, geeking out with you dudes. We will see you next Tuesday. I'm out of here. Peace. Shots.
See you.